Warmly welcomed to join the presentation of Relais Group plc for the Inderes Investor Day. My name is Arni Ekholm. I'm the CEO of Relais Group, and I have the pleasure to walk you through the presentation today. It's going to take about 20 minutes. The contents of the presentation, firstly, Relais in brief. I assume there are a lot of people who do not know us, so I will take you through the let's say, details of what we do. Then a short highlight of last year, the results which has published last week. Then the strategy and financial target. Few words about sustainability, and then Outlook 24, and a summary in the end, Relais as an investment, to follow today's theme. Relais in brief, what do we do? How do we position ourselves? We are a vehicle aftermarket specialist, and we operate in the Nordic and Baltic region. We are one of the biggest and most profitable growth platforms in this sector in Northern Europe. We are focused on the vehicle aftermarket. Why is that? Since we see the best value creation potential in that market. It is also less cyclical and more defensive than many other markets and grows steadily. One important thing to notice is that a large part of our business comes from commercial vehicles, and I will explain later what that means in practice. We aim to create shareholder value by delivering strong earnings growth with a strategy based on three reinforcing themes: acquisitions, organic growth, and operational excellence. So let's look at the target market, where we operate and where we aim to acquire companies. The full value, the size of the aftermarket is estimated to be about 20 billion euros, consisting of about 19 million vehicles. And let's look at the different types of vehicles first on the Nordic and Baltic roads and off-road vehicles. So everything starting from materials handling, farm and forestry, construction, heavy commercial vehicles, light commercial vehicles, passenger cars, two-wheeled vehicles. That's about 19 million vehicle. Each vehicle is a kind of a revenue platform for us. What does then aftermarket mean for us and mean generally? It is the market that starts from when after the vehicle is produced and imported into a certain market. Then you do things to enhance the life cycle of the vehicle. You equip it with let's say, lighting or power management products, or tires, alloy wheels, and so forth. You repair and maintain it, so that you take care of the vehicle. And that's the sweet spot of our business, where we see the biggest value creation potential in the market. Then having a more detailed look at the Relais Group structure, you can divide the business into two groups. The bigger group is the Technical Wholesale and Products Group, with over 10 different concepts we have in all the Nordic and Baltic markets. And then we are also one of Nordic's biggest independent operators of repair and maintenance workshops for commercial vehicles. We are about 30 different workshops around Finland and Sweden. All in all, we have over 1,000 professionals working in 6 countries. Then looking at how the sales is divided by geographical segment, we can see that from having been a very much Finnish market-based company, the relative weight of our Scandinavian units have grown ever since to 55%. This also includes a certain amount of export to third countries, mainly in Europe and North America. But in the big picture, the relative importance of Finland is still big, but it has become smaller than it used to be many years ago. Then even more details about our business. As I mentioned, we have 2 business areas: wholesale, technical wholesale and products, and then repair and maintenance. And the repair and maintenance is roughly 1/3, and the technical wholesale and products is roughly 2/3. And the technical wholesale and products also include our own branded products, namely in the lighting product group, which I will show on the next page. So looking at the way our net sales is divided by product group, we can see that the spare parts, both for commercial and partly also passenger vehicles, is about 30%. And then the lighting business, which is our own brands, is about 20%. And the rest, then there's 17% is the equipment part, also consisting of workshop equipment, but mostly electrical equipment that you use to enhance the life cycle of the vehicle. And then the roughly 1/3 coming from the repair and maintenance, which I showed on the previous page. We consider it as a product group. It consists of labor and spare parts, but it's reported as a different product group. Then looking at 23, just came out with the results last week. And what a year it was. It was actually the highest net sales and EBITDA in the history of Relais Group. So we were really happy for the results. We reached a turnover net sales about 284 million euros last year. That's a growth of about 9% in reported exchange rates. And then EBITDA, we reached 28.6 million, which was a growth of 24%. So really a strong year of growth again. And then based on our solid financial position, the board of directors will propose to the annual general meeting that a dividend of 44 euro cents per share will be paid, taking it up from the last year's 40 cents. And the dividend is proposed to be paid in 2 equal installments in April and November 24. Then to our strategy and financial target, how do we plan to reach the financial target? I will explain more in detail. So financial target for us is we are going to, and we are aiming to reach a pro forma comparable EBITDA of 50 million euros by end of 25. And this, when I say pro forma, it includes the 12 months run rate comparable EBITDA of acquired businesses also during that year. So it reflects the strong growth that we are aiming to reach by combining organic and growth by acquisitions. So how do we then plan to reach this target, and what is our strategy? I think this is a very clear and simple strategy. 3 reinforcing themes based on, and this is in no particular order of importance, growth by acquisitions. We are what is sometimes referred to as a competent compounder. We don't only allocate capital, we also allocate competence. We are an active consolidator of the Nordic vehicle aftermarket sector. We try to combine the companies into and develop the companies into more profitable units in the Nordic. The market is fairly fragmented, so there's still a lot of companies to acquire into this group. Operational excellence, we do not only acquire companies, we of course develop the companies we own and acquire. It's a continuous process of fine-tuning pricing, fine-tuning supply chain, and the logistics, and you can really make a difference of the way you run the operations efficiently to grow the earnings and cash flow. So this is the kind of the more specialized you are in a sector, the more probable it is that you can develop these companies. Then the organic growth, we aim to grow faster than the market average, which has been about 2 to 3% annually over business cycle in the Nordic markets. And this is also made possible or enabled by some of the cross-selling synergies we have between the countries and product groups, where we can use the acquired wholesale units to distribute the lighting products we have in the company. Then our value creation model, following the strategy, how do we create value for the shareholders and how do we build our companies? We call it the buy and build. It's a classical term. We are fairly picky. I've said it before. We are specialists. We try to find the good companies who have a healthy core. I mean, there needs to be good management, stable profitability. It can be a turnaround company with a recent turnaround, but there needs to be a track record of that. The profit is on a solid basis and sustainable basis. We want to identify robust and meaningful value creation potential in the companies we acquire, whether it would be then a standalone company or whether there would be synergies between other companies, or if the acquired company can become a new platform, or then that you have add-on acquisition possibilities for that type of company to be acquired. Here we can utilize our sector specialist role. We know the market very well. We know a lot of people. We get a lot of incoming contacts. but we are also very actively contacting business owners, family companies and so forth, entrepreneurs in this sector. And then it's very important that we confirm the right valuation for this equation to work. I mean, we aim to pay a market level price for the companies, not less, not more. So it's very important to find the real price of the business. Then the next step, the building part, it's not only that, as I said, that we acquire companies and leave them alone. We want to further develop them. All of us in the management team are very actively participating in the boards of these companies and supporting them and giving the knowledge we have and sharing the knowledge. It really is important. It sounds sometimes like a cliche, but the best practices and knowledge sharing really works. We have evidence on that if we look at our workshop chains, how the let's say the information sharing has helped both workshop chains to develop the profitability. Then we are looking at add-on acquisitions, as I just mentioned. Some of the companies have already started to do that, and we wish to see more. The focus is very much on execution and strategy. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. The wisdom is near the customer and the businesses, but we help the companies to thrive and to make sure that everybody follows their agreed local strategy. And then a high cash conversion is, of course, important for the future growth of the company. And then this acceleration step, competence compounding. We use the knowledge we have in the market. We compound it, not only capital, but also the competence, and then we can elevate the growth of the companies that we have acquired and are already part of the group. So it's a kind of a very solid model for future growth. How does our track record look like? There's a 10 years perspective here. 2013, the turnover of the group was 32 million and EBITDA 6 million. This is in local GAAP numbers. And now we are, let's say, almost 9 times bigger in turnover and almost, let's say, 5 times bigger in EBITDA. There's a small footnote you'll see on the right side of 23. It says plus 2.2. I just wanted for, let's say, illustrative purposes show that the weakening of the Swedish crown has really had an effect during the last year. So if we would use the exchange rate, SEK-Euro exchange rate from 21, the 23 EBITDA number would be 2.2 million higher. So it has a certain effect on the business, of course, when you are operating in the Nordic markets. Looking at the value creation for the shareholders since IPO in 2019, at the level we were then, and then looking counting back the dividends paid and also now the proposed dividend to be paid, the value creation per share is about 92.6% since 2019. Sustainability, following the dual materiality principle, I have divided this into two. How can we at Relais Group make an impact through our business? And then how can we make an impact through our sustainable practices? Some of the groups are, let's say, a little bit in between, but in the big picture, how our business can affect sustainability aspects and a better environment is actually the better care you take of your vehicle, of the life cycle of the vehicle, is actually a very environmental good deed, because then you don't have to spend a lot of energy and natural resources in building a new vehicle. So from that perspective, the enhancing of the life cycle is a very good act from a sustainability point of view. Then we, as an operator of workshops, can enable climate-friendly choices towards low-emission commercial traffic. We can already now repair and maintain electrical lorries and buses. Also, different other drivetrain technologies we can help our customers and fleets with. So we are enabling this low-emission traffic in the Nordic roads. Then looking at the spare parts, we are selling quite a big part of them are already within circularity, a circular economy, from that perspective that they have a refund system and they can be recycled and remanufactured. And we aim to increase the part of remanufactured spare parts in the future. Then the part that falls in between these two areas of processes and business is the lighting products we have. We consider the lighting products as an important contributor to occupational safety and road safety of the users of the vehicles, because that's their working place. The better lighting they have for an excavator or forest machine, it's a forestry machine, it's really a occupational safety issue, and also that you are seen in the traffic and you can see more in the traffic. It's really important. And then our processes, employee well-being, equal opportunities, training and development. We have over 1,000 professionals. We want to take good care of them. Energy choices in our premises. We have many premises, workshops and logistical centers, so we can make a difference by choosing a different type of energy solutions there, more environmentally friendly. And then finally, our supply chain is also an important part of this equation. We can do choices there in the supply chain to take focus on environmental and social aspects into consideration. Then Outlook 24. We do not give a numeric guidance, but there are few things that have an effect on the business performance, or can have an effect on the business performance or the market and the outlook. Mostly external macroeconomic and market demand factors. I think the Nordic economies are still not yet off the hook, so to say. I mean, the inflation is still relatively high level, or at least the aftermath of the high inflation is having an effect on the markets. The financing cost for the companies and even for the households in the form of interest rates is still affecting the purchase power of customers and consumers negatively. We have seen that on some of the consumer discretionary related product groups during Q4. So we predict that that type of conditions to continue. Luckily, we are not that affected by consumer discretionary products. Unemployment, layoffs classically follow the high inflation period. It's maybe not so alarming yet, but there are some signs of it in the market. So we are having an eye on that one, how it's going to affect the market. Then on the positive side, as I think I mentioned in the start, aftermarket is defensive by nature. People tend to keep the older vehicles or the present vehicles and repair them, and also the commercial fleets also try to find more economical solutions for the repair and maintenance of their vehicles. So traditionally, economically hard times or rougher times have favored the independent aftermarket operators. Then also internal, looking at the internal success factors, the inventory and resource situation is good. It has not always been. I think we had a lack of mechanics a couple of years ago. Now we have been able to solve it. Inventory situation is good. We don't have too much products. We don't have too few products. So that allows us to meet the customer demand on the wholesale side and also on the workshop side, repair and maintenance side. The resources are there. So in balance, we feel that we are well positioned to continue our growth path in a profitable and sustainable way also during 24. Then finally, summing up, what is Relais as an investment? How is Relais as an investment? We are, as I explained in the start, sector specialists. We know this market. We aim to consolidate the Nordic vehicle aftermarket, and there are still a lot of fish in the pond that we can acquire and develop and work together with. Looking at the North European perspective and even maybe European perspective, we are one of the few growth platforms having this size and profitability. That is very important to notice when you think about the future in this business. So we are already a formidable sized growth platform. We are not the new kid on the block, even if we have grown quite rapidly. We have a long track record of doing successful acquisitions. We do it in a disciplined way and try to find the jewels and develop them and make the companies grow. So we have a very high bar when it comes to the performance of the companies that we acquire. We have a solid cash flow and profitability track record that helps us to grow also in the future. And looking at the market, we are not selling new vehicles, we are not selling used vehicles, we are not selling any vehicles. We are focused on the aftermarket, which is it grows steadily every year, the amount of vehicles. It's a defensive market, and it's less sensitive to cyclicality, which is very good and these type of times economically. Then also maybe a hidden gem, a slightly hidden gem, is the vehicle lighting business with own brands that we are successfully marketing, products like Strands or Optibeam, to many markets in Europe and North America and even Australia, with a growing user base. And then finally, from a cost point of view, we have a very efficient and lean operating model. So we do not have a very heavy overhead from that perspective. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you for following.